Yeah. Hi, everyone. So, good morning and welcome to Innovate Technologies live webinar on AIML. So, we'll see like if few more people will join in between, but we can start. So, the motto behind our webinar is to make a high quality AIML education accessible to all and then bring this industry relevant experiences to all our users. And today we are thrilled to have a mentor, Nishi Paul, who's a data scientist at HP Enterprises, and she has also worked with HSBC and MIQ. And she has a wide range of experience in multiple domains like banking, finance, advertisement, and IT and all. So thank you for joining us today, and let us explore today's topic, like which is AI in everyday life. So over to you, Nishi.
Hello, thank you for the introduction. Hi everyone. So, thanks for joining on this Sunday afternoon. And before starting with the presentation, I would like to share that if you have any questions, you can use the chat box. And before that, please do use the reaction of raise hand so that I can see if you have a question in between and we will take it forward. Okay, so let's get started with the presentation today. I hope my screen is visible to you all.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so the tabs that you see over here are all the stuffs that I'm going to walk you through today. And these are all the tabs which is actually going to make your life easier. It has made our life easier. I mean, all the AIML people around there, and there are many more. The possibilities are endless. So I'm just going to take you through few of it, which we do use a lot, and there are many more that you will actually explore later on. So before starting on, we do know that what artificial intelligence is, right? And that is the reason why you guys are here. I think, right? So AI, in short, we can say that it is something which is making our life easier. It's like the computer is getting intelligent on what it does. So, what comes under AI? Machine learning, deep learning, NLP, computer vision, robotics. But is it ending over there? No. The artificial intelligence is a vast domain and it is going around a lot of different sectors. But what are those? Okay, so this is what it is. And the picture that you are observing here is again generated by an AI tool that I'm going to share with you. But this artificial intelligence is covering a lot of different sections, and each section has its own specializations. So whenever you will come across any kind of job offerings, let's say, or any kind of research topic, it will either be on machine learning or computer vision or expert system. So if you want to be an AI engineer, you really have to be good at all of this different domains that are the subfields of AI. Now, the major topics, that is the major demands right now, is for machine learning, for deep learning, for the computer visions and the NLP and some robotics. The corporates wants the machine learning, deep learning, more of it. Why so? Let's see. So these are the demanding ones. That is the machine learning, deep learning, NLP, and the computer vision. Now, what the machine learning is talking about? It is when you do not have to let the computers know what you want it to be doing, right? You are not writing down the rules explicitly. It's the machines who will be doing the task for you, but looking into the output, not into the rules. So you are telling the machine, I have this kind of input, I have this kind of output, give me a set of rules by looking into it. And what is happening at the back? All different types of statistical performances are happening at the back. So machine learning is completely based on statistics and the statistical rules, normally if I say it. So the types of machine learning are supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Supervision is when you are telling the machine what it has to do, right? Like I have this kind of an input and I have similar kind of an output that I will be passing to the machine. So it will undergo through some kind of mapping into it. And there are different kinds of supervised learning that is coming under it: the regression, classifications, ranking, time series forecasting, anomaly detection, and even there are more than it. These are the five which is being used a lot. I mean, in a huge amount, these are getting used. And under these categories, a lot of models we do have. But is it possible for us to remember every type of model or how each of these models are working? Of course not. So we have a documentation for that, which is scikit-learn. In this, you will get every kind of machine learning models that they have to provide, and every day it is actually, I mean, new models are getting added to it, or the old models are getting improvised, and you can just go into any one of it, and you will see different types of models which are available for our usage, and every description you will get over here. So we do use this. We do keep this handy so that we can visit these, we can look into what the supervised new supervised model are coming up, and then can use it for our purpose. What this unsupervised learning is doing. Now, unsupervised learning is when we are not providing an output to it. We are just giving it the data and it will learn on its own. It's like this kid, the kid who is looking into the water and then looking into the fire. The kid will, of course, he will not touch the fire, right? He knows what the implication could be. He will rather touch the water. So that is an unsupervised learning when it is learning by itself, learning by the implications, learning by some kind of a pattern. And what is coming under it: clustering, the dimensionality reductions, the anomaly detections, the association rules. There are many more again under it, but these are the ones which we are using a lot. And for this also, this scikit-learn is, all the APIs for it are available. And what is this API? Basically, the different kind of models or the different kind of functions that you're going to use for the for your purpose, for anything that you would like to perform with the machine learning models. Now, what do we perform in the machine learning stuff? So I will also show you that, like how these are getting utilized in the industries. Before that, I have a short quiz. So, if machine learning has the supervised techniques, it has the unsupervised techniques, and then there is reinforcement learning too. But this reinforcement learning is still under it is still under a study. It is still under the research. It is a very advanced concept where the model is learning all by itself. So that part is not so much in use in today's industries. Just like the supervised and unsupervised ones are getting used. But if it is getting used in such a wide range, in vast amount of industries, what was the need for deep learning, right? So what do you think why this is coming up? So the question is, why deep learning came up when machine learning was already there? Option A is complex pattern recognition. Option B is automatic feature engineering. Option C is representational learning. And option D is all of the above. I will switch to Zoom so that you can actually give your answers on the chat box. So let's get ready. I cannot see any chat. I think I'm audible. Okay, you guys can just raise your hands and let's be interactive. Let's be more interactive. I just don't want to be speaking over here and you guys listening. That will be very much boring. No, that's not supervised learning. The question was, like, if the machine learning is already there, then why deep learning came up? There has to be some kind of a reason, right? If is this the option A, is this the option B, option C, or option D? So I'll just copy and paste this on the Zoom. Maybe it will be easier for you because I'm changing the screens. So which of this option it would be? Okay, Gaurav Sharma, he just said it is as D, that is option 4. Anyone else?
Or
4, right? Okay, so Ashish and Isha are saying 1. Okay, so no one else. Okay. Okay, guys, let's be more energetic now because a lot of useful things are coming up. Let's it's not only one. Deep learning helps you with the complex pattern recognition, yes, because it uses calculus. It does is the foundation is based on statistics, of course, but it uses calculus a lot. So that is one of the thing, right? And another one is the automatic feature engineering. Yes, with machine learning, we have to perform the feature engineering by ourselves, but with the deep learning, you do not have to do any kind of feature engineering all manually. And then the representational learning, where it can actually see what the words are representing. Basically, it tries to understand the context. So the correct answer is all of the above, right? And I really appreciate you all participating in the quiz. Let's be more active, okay? So why the deep learning came up? We did just observed because of the different needs that we have right now. The machine learning that it was quite quite traditional. With the changes in the demands, with the increase in the data, we need to know more. So that's why the deep learning came up. Now there are different kind of deep learning types. The convolutional neural network (CNN), which are mostly used for the images and the videos. For there are RNN, recurrent neural network, that are used for the sequential data or the textual data. Then comes a generative adversarial network, which are GANs, and then the transformer models. Now, the transformer models are basically the base of the generative models, the generative AI models, the chat GPT that we use a lot, which is very much in hype, is based on transformer models. And then transformer model is the foundation transformer model is actually GANs. So it was the GANs from which these ideas came up that we can do much more with it. And then this attention model came up, which is actually the architecture of the transformer model, the base architecture of transformer model, and then came up the generative AI models, right? So there it is quite a huge history that follows up for how this era came up, where everything is getting generated, whatever you want, right? Now, this deep learning usage is again, it is also quite vastly used in the industries. And right now, with the introduction of Gen AI models, the usage has increased than ever before. Okay. And if you want to see like how this deep learning is performing, or if you want to learn more about it, then the keras documentation is there. The keras is what we follow the library for it, just like the scikit-learn is for the machine learning stuffs where we have the different models. The keras is for the deep learning stuffs, yes. And even if you are working with the generative AI, you would need keras. So this is our documentation for it. You can go into it and you can see how the models are working. And if you have to use any kind of a model, how you can use it, because different models has their different types of usage pattern. So different layers, as you can see that while building up the deep learning models, we do it in the form of layers, right? If you have seen any, there are different multiple layers that you need to build. So these are the different type of layers, and you can just go into any of it. It will give you the complete structure and it will give you the definition of what that layer is doing. So that's how we do it. And there it is. I'm ending today's session for the first part, which is what this machine learning and deep learning actually is. Now, we will move into the AI and its application, the main agenda of it. So I guess up to this point, you know what the machine learning is and you know what the deep learning is, at least a very brief concept about it and how this generative AI came up. Generative AI is nothing but AI which is generating on its own. Okay. So I'll move to the Zoom right now. Please raise your hands if you all are attentive till now. Okay, there is a question says that GPT is transformer generative model. Okay, GPT is a generative model and a transformer also. This GPT models is a why it's a transformer model, because it is transformer is basically an architecture, as you can say. The architecture we have the bird models also, we have different other models like T5 models. All of those are transformer models, and any kind of a model which is generating all by itself is a generative model. Okay, does that, I hope that answers your question. So up to this point, Do you guys have any question regarding this? Then we will move into the application stuff. Okay, Ashish says very little. What do you mean by very little? If you can be more, okay, machine learning versus coding. Okay, so this one I will take it at the end of our today's session. Okay, sure. I'll explain it to you what is machine learning versus coding is at the end of this session. We will take this forward. Okay, so if no one is having any other question, then I'm moving forward. Let's move forward to applications. Now comes the best part. So if there are so many things, right, available, then why do we need to do it from scratch? Of course, we don't need to do it from scratch. There are many more applications available in the form of API, in the form of websites that we can make use of. And this picture I have generated, these are all the pictures that I have used in this are all generated pictures. Okay, so it's like a baby Einstein dancing happily, right? Okay, so moving forward, first is the image generation. Image generation is very, very hyped one, right? Everyone does or have seen how this image is getting generated, right? There are many applications which can generate images. Now I'm going to walk you through few of those applications. First one is this Canva image generator. So Canva, has anyone heard of Canva before? Raise your hands, I would like to see. No one has heard of Canva? Oh, okay, only one. Okay, two. Okay, nice. So this is a Canva generator, and using this Canva generator, you can generate images. Now you just have to write the prompt into this, and then clicking on this generate AI images will make you or will give you the generated image. But I have reached my credits for the day, so it is not showing me anything. It's not completely free, but it comes with credits, the refreshed credits every day, so you can make use of it for your own usage. And Canva is basically an interface where you can do a lot more other stuffs. But yes, this AI feature has been introduced over here where you just have to give the prompt and it will give you the picture. And this picture is generated from here. This picture of looking somewhat like Bill Gates is over here. So this is a by the Canva image generator, the first tool for image generation. There are multiple, but I have selected the Canva because you get the credits refreshed every day and you can generate maybe up to 15 to 20 images, somewhat in that range every day. So I think that's actually a good amount. Then there is another one, image generator by Microsoft, and I have attached all of these links into this PPT so that you can walk through it. And this cute image of this puppy is generated by this image generator by Microsoft only. And here, just like I had given this description, like generate an image of Pomeranian puppy riding a bicycle in the cartoon format, and it has given me this pictures. You can select any one of it and can use it. Right? This is amazing, right? It's actually cute how well these are performing. And if you click on generate once again, it will again give you a different set of puppies over here. So these are the tools for the image generation that comes quite handy, and this is almost, you can say it's free because you get a lot of free trials with it. Then after the image generation, we will see some kind of text summarization. Now, why is text summarization is so important? The text summarization is important because while working in the industries, you will come across huge lines of text that has to be summarized, that has to be shortened in order to save your time. That's why the text summarization is coming up right now. In while working in the industries or any kind of corporate, you cannot use any sort of external agencies for your data summarization, for the text summarization. We have different APIs for that you need to use. I will show you what the APIs are so that you as a developer can utilize it in your code. But let's see what kind of text summarizer websites we have. So this is one text summarizer by Scribr, and this is how it is looking like. Just give it a text as many line as you want and then click on summarize. It will summarize the text for you, and this is my summarized text, right? It is very cool. So this is providing you with the abstract summarization. What this abstractive summarization means, it will pick out the important lines or important words or important context out of your huge lines of text, and then it will give you the result. So you do not have to go through all of it in order to understand what it actually means. You can do the summarization and it will be ready with you. So up to this point, are we aligned? Are you guys having fun time looking into these things? You can just raise your hands using this reactions button from here. You can raise your hand and let me know that you are aligned with me. Okay, I can see few messages. Okay. Okay, great. So I'll move ahead with our yes, aligned. Thank you. Thank you for these confirmations. Right. So this is the summarizer tool where you can place your text and it will do the summarization. Now there is another tool which is the paraphrasing tool. Now what this paraphrasing tool is, the summarized part that it has provided to you, it might not sound that much of good to you. I mean, you want something more different. Okay, then you can use this paraphraser tool. And I have used the same summarized text from here, pasted it into this paraphrasing tool by scribble only, and then this is, you can see how the paraphrases are looking like. So like for this line, it is showing you a prompt called as rephrase. Just click on this rephrase and it is showing you what are all the other possibilities or the options. So let's click on one of it. It has changed. This is actually really nice, right? How the AI is changing the way of working. And even for every word you can do the changes. Like for the prose, it has given you so many similar or closely related words, and then you can select on it, it will change it, right? So that's how you can make use of it. But in which ways you can use of it, I have given you an example. I will show that later. Before that, let us go through the text generator. Now what this text generator is, text generator, as the name suggests, it is going to generate text for you, of course. So, if you remember, during our school days, we often used to forget during the exams what I have to write. My God, I mean, we were totally just. I mean, we would have forgotten what we need to do during the exam halls, right? And then we would just create something from our mind, some bizarre stories, right? So we were actually acting as a text generator back then. That's what the text generator does. You give it a prompt, and here I have used this deep AI text generator. You give it a prompt like this, and there are so many ads they're using, my God. So you give it a prompt like generate a story for me in 500 words related to a group of friends ending up in a haunted house, and it will give you a story within 500 words. It is much lesser than 500 words, but yes, you can give it a word limit. And because this is a free version, of course, I'm not going to get a very good result, but this is definitely an acceptable result from it. So it is giving you a complete story. It is generating a text. And not only for this kind of a thing, you can even ask it like, if I am, uh, let's say, if I am going through some AI courses, where can I land up? And it will give you a story related to that. It will generate the text for you. That is our Deep AI text generator. Deep AI, this interface has a lot of other possibilities and other options that I will show you in a bit. But let's move on with it. Okay, a little bit of a quiz next to keep you awake. So all these generative models that I have shown you just now, this is a picture generator, image generator, text, this one text generator, then the summarizer. What all of these models are doing, they are generating something for you. They are creating something for you. Of course, they are the generative ones. That's why we call it. So is it a supervised model or an unsupervised model? The options are, if is it's supervised, it's unsupervised, semi-supervised, and then what supervision is, right? So let's answer this question. So can you tell me what the answer could be? Are the generative models supervised ones, unsupervised, or what it is? Okay, Vinay Kumar is saying it's option one. Anyone else? Supervised. Option B, unsupervised. Okay. Any more answers? Supervised. Lots of votes are going to supervised ones. Any more? Option four. What is supervision? Okay. I will go through that part. I think I explained it before, but okay, I'll explain you later on. We will take it up at the end of the session. Vinay Kumar, correction B, unsupervised learning. Okay. Next. Anyone else? No one else? Okay, cool. So the persons who have said it's a supervised learning are partially correct, and the persons who have said it's an unsupervised learning are wrong. It's not an unsupervised learning. Generative models are all supervised. It started with supervision and then it is semi-supervised right now, if we say it, because the generative models are running on the transformer model. So what I'm saying is the complete line of it right now. Generative models are the end products. They are based on transformer models. Transformer models are based on deep learning models. Deep learning models are basically the neural networks. Now, it has the feed forward and the backward propagation sort of concepts. Feed forward is when you need to supervise. What does that mean? If I tell you, in a very lame language, feed forward would mean you telling someone what to do. You are supervising on what to do. And from the very next day, it has learned what he or she has to do. From the very next day, he or she is not going to ask you about what shall I do with this task. It will do on its own. That is where the semi-supervised is coming up, right? It is learning on its own from a single supervision. That's why the generative models are actually semi-supervised. So if you have to take a model, just like so many different kind of a model, there is a summarizer, there is an image generator. Now you say that I want to create my own image generator. Of course, you can do that. You have to pick up some of the models which are already there, and then you need to supervise it. Yes, of course, you have to at first supervise it with your own data, and after that supervision your model will be smart enough to generate the next task on its own, or to generate the next images on its own. So it will supervise itself after that, once you have trained it with your own data. So that's where it is a semi supervised one. I think it's
I have a question.
sure.
So you mentioned how generative models are inside deep learning models, right?
Yeah.
And within deep learning model, the basic foundation of deep learning model is that we don't give labels, right?
No, no, no. We have to give label in the deep
Uh,
learning.
at we really don't need to, because that is what feature engineering is. In machine learning models, we kind of have to tell the model like, okay, this is the things which we are looking for. But in deep learning, what it does is it uses reputational learning, where it decides its own features and like its own what it's basically looking for, right? So that is
Okay.
what, because even in the option, in the previous quiz, you said automatic feature engineering, which kind of is that, right?
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes, but the feature engineering is very different than the labeling. That part you are confusing with. Feature engineering is basically what input features you require for a particular output. In the real time scenarios, like when you're working with the industries, the number of features that you get is not limited to 4 or 5 like that. You get features like 40, 60, 70s. It is just the number is limitless. It might be any numbers. That's where we perform the feature engineering. If we are using the machine learning, we try to reduce the 60 number of features to 6 or 7, because the less features you will use, the more better your model will be. That is
Okay,
where the feature
so
engineering is coming up.
would you at least agree that deep learning models actually create their own features instead of inputting
Yes, of course.
instead of letting us input? Okay,
Yes, that's the
so
feature representational learning that it does, but it has
yeah,
nothing to do with the labels actually. The labels are your output. You need to provide the
yeah.
label. So when you're providing your input features, it will
Mhm.
map itself with the labels.
Okay, so it can basically what deep learning models do is it looks for its own features, right? It is not something unlike where in supervised learning where we uh, explicitly say. to the model, like,
The
okay, we
supervised
want this.
learning,
It's not.
okay, sorry, I guess you were a bit confused here. In the supervised learning, we do provide the labels and all the features that we have. We need to perform the feature engineering too. So it's like performing the feature engineering plus providing the labels in case of supervised ones. Okay.
Okay,
So
and
if
in
you
case
are
of deep,
yeah, in case of deep learning also, we are performing the labeling part only. We are not doing the feature engineering. We are putting in the data and then we are telling the model that this is the output. And then the model tries to feature all of the input features that we have given. That is, it tries to feature all of the columns in a way that it maps correctly with that output. Okay.
uh,
And if you're still confused, we can take it up later at the end of the session if it's okay.
I mean, sure, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So we will go forward and we will pick that all the questions at the end of the sessions, right? So getting into the next tool. Okay, so before getting into the next tool, this is something interesting. Okay. Now, what that interesting thing is how you can make use of summarizers, the paraphrasers, the generators, and all of these stuffs. We have it, right? But we should know the usage of it. For example, I have picked up this sentence. This sentence is from a website. It's from Hugging Face, a very famous website for transformer models. And then I used the Grammarly for plagiarism checking. Of course, it will show me it is a plagiarized content because I have picked it up from a website where it is already posted. And it is showing me it is a significant plagiarism found, right? But if I pick this sentence and then put it into the summarizer, this is what the summarizer had given me. And I had placed it into the same summarizer that I had shown from the Scribble. And now this content generated is 100% new with zero plagiarism. You can try it on your own and you will see that it is completely new. Then, if even if you are finding some kind of plagiarism in your summarized content, you can always use the paraphraser tool to change it, and then again you can check. That will give you 100% new content on top of it. This is how basically we can use it, but we shouldn't actually do this. I mean, we should always try to do our own generations, I mean, own content creations. But this is a very cool usage of AI, like how from a single content you can generate multiple contents which are completely new, and how AI is doing that because it has the context learning ability. It has learned which of the words follows up to which other words, what should come before a particular word, what should come after a particular word. It has got that kind of a learning. It has that understanding power, and that is what a representational learning is. So that's how you are getting 100% new content using different various tools. After going through all of the summarizations and paraphrasing tools, let's move forward. And this is another tool for you which helps you in generating presentations. So this is how the tool is looking like. The presentation maker. If you just press on get started, you need to give the topic over here and whatever the default topic is, I'm keeping it as such. And this is the selection range. Let's say I'm picking up this one. Oh, okay. Say I'm writing this one, the greenhouse effect. Lesson number of slide is 8. And if you just click on generate presentation, it will generate it for you. Okay, so while it is generating the presentation for us, this is how it was looking like when I had given the prompt that introduction on AI, and it has given me this sort of a generation for the PPT. Okay, so yes, this is how it is looking like. So you can generate a PPT quite easily using this tool, and then you can make changes onto these words as per your requirements. But this is a pretty cool stuff, right? Creating a complete PPT on your own. So after that, getting into the code generator. So this is the most cool stuff maybe for the developers. At times it happens that when while building some kind of a project, you are coming across certain points, certain sections where you might have forgotten some kind of a code block, right? Like you need an regex expression, but you have forgotten what the regex expression could be because regex expressions are quite quite difficult. They're quite tricky. You can make use of this code generator over here, and you can give a prompt and it will give you the result. Just like here, I have given it a prompt that I want to perform dimensionality reduction followed by clustering with a data set that is having 1,000 rows and 6 columns, and out of which 4 columns are text. So you need to convert that to integers. And it has given me the prompt. Now, this, I'm not saying it would be 100% accurate, it will just give you an idea. For example, in this dimensionality reduction, it has the dimension reduction 2 as components equal to 2. But your code might require it to be reduced into, let's say, 4 or 5. So that things we have to change, but it is giving you a basic code structure. Okay, and this dimensionality reduction is where we are actually, it is a part of a feature engineering that we do need to perform, right? So this tool is allowing you to generate code in any language that you would want. This is another cool stuff, right? You can generate the code. And next, moving forward to a very innovative tool, I will say, Miro. So what Miro is doing is helping you with your work management. Work management in the sense the complete workflow. So you can basically generate the complete hierarchical structure with the help of it, with the help of this tool in a very easy manner. How? Let's move to this interface and see. So this is how the interface is looking like. And when you go to this dashboard, you have to sign in. Basically, I'm already signed into it. And if I just open up one of this, it will show you how it is working. So the first picture that you have seen over here for what this artificial intelligence is in this very first slide, number 3, this is generated using Miro. How? Miro has this AI feature enabled. So if you just write something, click on top of it, there is this option Miro AI, and you can select any one of these 3, let's say expand with topics. It will do the expansion with the topics for you. So it is saying generating your results. Pretty cool, right? So all the machine learning topics that you have is generated. So this is how you can make use of it. And normally it's being used for writing down all the flow charts for the work management purposes. You have different kind of a task, you can write it down one after the other using this kind of a format. But this AI feature which is enabled with this Miro is actually very pretty cool. So I wanted to keep this over here. Like for this large language models, I have just written this large language model and then have clicked on top of it and have selected expand with ideas, and then there I got all of these ideas that you can perform with this LLMs. And if you click more on it, it will give you or generate more ideas for you. It will be a huge cluster of text altogether. So let's see how it is performing. Say it's generating the results, it will give us more of it. Yeah, so you had so many before and now you have more of it. Pretty cool stuff, right? Okay, so moving back to Zoom, how many of you like the Miro? I mean, I like it a lot. You can raise your hands from the reactions, or you can okay, I do. You can also comment yes. Okay, just Isha liked it, no one else? Okay, Vinay Kumar said yes. I think only 1 or 2 people are active and others are sleeping on a Sunday morning. Okay. Okay. So this form for you, the generative AI that I was showing you till now, those are quite specific to what it does. There are more generic tools that will give you all of it at once. Like you can perform multiple stuffs at a single place, but those are not really free. I mean, just 4 or 5 credits a day, and then you that will be exhausted, and then you have to pick the premium ones. But all the other websites that I had shown you, this you can try a lot with it. I mean, you can try multiple times with it, and this code generator is completely free. So this is another stuff which is yes chat, and you can perform, and this is actually very good for performing the categorization. It has other features as well. That is, you can create a logo too. Just like I have used this prompt that create a logo for me that has a cute robot as a mascot portraying AI tutorial stuff. So it has generated this kind of a picture for me that I can make use of. And then in the data categorization portion, I had asked it to categorize the sentence, "I'm not feeling energetic today," as in a Sunday morning. So it has asked me that what kind of categorization I want. So there are so many different types of categorization possible with a small sentence. And when I set a mood category, it has given me as such lethargic or low mood, right? So this is how you can make use of this categorizer too. Yes, yes, chat, it is. And all the stuffs we can perform with the chat GPT, of course, but you cannot generate images with chat GPT. You can generate code, you can do the summarizations, you can do this stuffs that is categorization, but you cannot generate a logo with the chat GPT. However, chat GPT has introduced another tool which is called as Cider. Cider has much more functionality. What kind of functionalities? All these types: chat, translate, summarize, chat PDF, write, paint, OCR. So OCR is optical character recognition, where you can extract the text or any kind of text. It might be, it can be an equation, it can be plain words from an image, right? So this is a grammar, email reply, you can generate any of it, and then you can do the start, you can get started with it by extract text now or something like that. So it is, when you will go to Cider and do the setup, it will ask you to add some kind of extension, just like I have this extension over here. Now how you can make use of it, just like the OCR is selected over here, so it is asking me to extract text. But if I, let's say, do the translate over here, this translate text to via sidebar, it will, okay, so I have it already installed over here. Let's see, grammar translator, or this chat, or this write portion AC, or whatever I want to write it. This is a translate. Let's see, today is Sunday, and it will do it for me, right? But over here also you have some kind of limitations, just like this one. This 26 credits, you will get it for free, and every day these credits are going to get refreshed. So how you can make use of this Cider? You can maybe use this OCR portion of it, which is pretty cool. You can expand it. You can use this OCR portion. You can use the other portions like this email reply generations and all these things, which are actually very much. I mean, these are very accurate when it comes to this kind of a platforms, but ChatGPT won't give you much better result with it. ChatGPT won't cannot give you this OCR sort of stuffs, because you cannot use any kind of images over there, simply because that's an LLM model, and the free version is using, I guess, now 4.0 or something. So those are the ChatGPT models. Okay, so this is what the OC Cider is, which is a tool by ChatGPT, but it's not ChatGPT. Okay, and there comes the end of the applications, the web applications that all I had to show you. The next ones we will start with the APIs. Now what the APIs are basically the models that you can use in your own tools, in your own code, and those APIs are completely free, those are open sourced, and you do not have to worry about your data being leaked, right? Because that's why we do use the coding stuff. So we do not prefer to use these websites, because that is of course picking up your data. Your data is getting leaked, your security is getting breached over there. But if you're using some kind of APIs which are open sourced, you can create your own models, and you do not have to do it from scratch. You can just do it right away uh, with your data. So up till now, I would like to interact with you guys. Are you like, I mean, how have you liked all these web applications? Let me know. Get text recognition from images, right? That is OCR, I guess you're talking about. Okay, so only Gaurav Sharma uh, has liked all the applications, no one else. You can raise your hands, you can use the reactions. Okay, Karthik said yes. Anyone else? No feedback on these web applications? Problem understanding. Okay, Vinay, you can tell me what part you find a problem in understanding. You can unmute yourself and tell me, or you can use the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, I used a similar thing for understanding problems when I attend some programmatical exams. That time I copied and write the same way. It worked.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not understanding the context. Which programmatic you're talking about?
Sorry, normally I used a similar kind for problem solving, like that I'm stating to
What interface have you used?
Copilot.
OpenAI, is it?
Yeah, Copilot.
Copilot. Okay, so Copilot you used the Copilot in which interface? It is available with certain like it is available with GitHub, with Microsoft.
Yeah,
Which one have you used?
Microsoft. Google I used.
Okay, so every kind of code generator is not going to give you the exact result. It is just going to be specific on your functions. Like you cannot tell a code generator that give me a website which is having this. It is not going to give you like that. It will be an error if you use it directly. You need to put a very specific function on it. Just like when I said that I need a dimensionality reduction followed by clustering, it has given me this little code of this dimensionality reduction, like two components and then transform the data. Am I going to make use of it? Of course not. So when it has given me this PCA, I will go to Google, I will search through the documentation about, learn more about how this PCA is performing. What are the alternatives for PCA? Then why the PCA is better or why it is not better than the other alternatives, and then I'm going to use it, and not only just for two, I'm going to do an iteration on top of it with two, with three. I will see how the model output is coming up with the different kind of different number of columns, right? And then I will pick it up. So if I'm using it directly, of course that is going to be wrong. I have to do a lot of research on my own also. So yes, when people say that AI is going to take your job, it is not going to take your job. It is just for ease purpose. Like it is uh, reducing your hectic. Basically, it is reducing your task. You can do your job more smoothly with the use of it, with a good use of it, right? Okay. Yeah, Microsoft is making job easier, of course. Anyone else? I will move to APIs then. Okay, so the first question before I move to API is, how many of you know about APIs? You can raise your hands. Okay, you can use this interface to raise your hand to know if you know about API. I know Karthik knows about APIs. Anyone else? Gaurav Sharma knows about APIs. Isha knows about it. Okay, so for the others, I'll give a very brief description of what an API is. Okay, API is basically, I have a function. Let's say I have a very simple function of a date converter, and now I'm selling it. And let's say I'm not selling it, I am open sourcing it. So then you can go to that open source tools like GitHub, pick up that code and use it. That will be like an API only. Using some pre-built function is an API. You do not have to do it from scratch. You can just pick it up and take it. So, being developers, you should not rely on the external websites. External websites are good for a proof of concept purpose that we have this structures available, and if we make use of it, we can shrink our workload to by a great amount, right? By 20 percentage, by 30 percentage. For giving numbers, these external websites are good, but for real-time utilizations in your work, you need to make use of the different APIs or the different pre-built models out there. So there is one very cool concept of Gemini, which has came up right now. Google has introduced it this year. This is very new. How many of you have heard about Gemini? Have you, anyone heard about it? Gemini? No one? Okay, okay. Karthik heard about it. Rajeshwari heard about it, Gemini. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can make use of this Gemini tools, Gemini API basically. The okay, so Gemini is a model just like a GPT model. Gemini is based on BERT. The model architectures are a bit different. GPT is basically a generative model where it is going to generate you the text. I mean, it's and the BERT model is a bidirectional model. Bidirectional model means it is going to understand the context. It is also a generative model, but it is going to understand the context of your text from both the sides. And it's quite hard to explain it in this way. Rather, I'm going to show you the examples. So for using this Gemini APIs, you need to have Google Studio. You need to log into the Google AI Studio, and this is what the Google AI Studio looks like. And then you can click on it, get API key in the Google AI Studio, and after that, some kind of interface is going to get open up, right, like this one. Now, in order to use this API in your project, you need to create a project into the Google platform. So, how you create a project, how you are utilizing the API from your project, all of these are explained into this interface, and it's quite easy. So, if when it says that it is getting paid, it is actually not getting paid, because Google is offering you some kind of credit when you are when you get started with it. It will give you some $300 credit or so for utilization, so you can make use of it, you can learn about it. And this is how I make use of it. So you can see the cost for a single query. It took me 0.71 rupees, and I was having credit, so the total cost divide is 0. So you can make use of it in order to learn, or in order to use the APIs in your own functions. Now, what kind of APIs is it providing? What kind of functions can you do? This is the list of things that it is providing you. So many things that you can do with it, right? What I had selected from here is a recipe creator. Oh my God, I cannot see this recipe creator right now. Yeah, this one. So when you click on this recipe creator, it will give you the code itself. So you can see this one here, the cookies, something. It is just a historical record on how you can make use of it. You give it a picture and it will give you the result out of it. Now, if you want to use this code, click on this get code section, and it is going to give you the code that you can make use of. And this chat history session is nothing but the one that you are looking at it right now, which is the default one that you will get when you will open it. So you can pick the complete code from here, you can paste it in your IDE, and then can make use of it. And this is where the key is required. So I have a demo for you. This, I'm using the Google Colab for this purpose. And this is what using Gemini API is. Now you need to have this Google Generative AI installed in your system. Because I'm using Google Colab, it is saying already the requirement is satisfied. Now you need to give your key. I have stored the key in a variable. I cannot show the key. Of course, it has to be a secret one. You cannot share your API key with anyone. And then this code that I have copied completely from there. This is the code that I have copied, and I am going to make use of it just by changing this to API key. So over here, if you see when you have copied the code, there this is showing something like this. This OS environment Gemini API key. Because I'm not using the OS environment, I have stored my API key in a variable. I'm going to replace that line with this API key only. And these are all the parameters that you can tweak, and you can basically try out. You can play with it to see how changing these parameters, what the result you are getting. And this is the model that is getting utilized. After that, this is the image that I'm using. Now, what image is that? I have attached the image into this PPT. This is the image that I passed to it, and this image is stored in my drive. I had given it the path of the drive, and then I sent it the message that give me the full recipe of the dish in the image. And this is the response that I'm getting. This is a recipe creator, right? So it's easy. Is it easy? Are you finding it easy? I read Gemini is very old and does not perform right. No, Gemini is not old. Gemini is new. Not sure which Gemini you're talking about. Gen AI is actually getting older. Uh, I mean, Gen AI as a whole, the concept is getting older, but Gemini is a new model, which is a part of a Gen AI. Gemini is at the current stage it is not performing right. Maybe it is not performing right, yes, because it is still in the learning phase, but it has I mean, the output that you get out of it is quite accurate. Actually, you can make use of it to see how it is giving you. I mean, you can try it out on your own, but if you ask me, yes, Gemini is working quite fine. It is based on the BERT model, BERT, BERT model. It's based on that. So this is the demo. You just have to copy and paste this code and it is all ready with you. You have any kind of application, let's say a web application, and you want to integrate some kind of AI structure into it. Well, very cool. You just go to this prompt gallery and then you pick up what your website should have. Let's say your website should have something like a math tutor. You pick up this code, integrate this code with your web AI application, uh, into the app, or whatever you want out of it, and then the users can make use of it. So you do not have to write a complete uh, math tutor generator or whatever AI function that you require in your website from the scratch. You can just do it using this code. From here you can pick the code up and then you can use it. There are many from here that you can make use of, right? So how many of you are finding Gemini as useful? Anyone? No one? You can raise your hands. You can use the chat box. Okay, so is Gemini confusing to you? Should I repeat that? Well, there is a lot of silence. Okay, Isha got it. Anyone else? Anyone else want to put on some kind of comments on top of this Gemini? No one? Okay, I think everyone got it. I will assume everyone got it since there is so much of silence here. Okay, so moving ahead is another API, that is the Deep API, Deep AI API. So the Deep AI, I did show you the Deep AI as a text generator. Now this Deep AI is also providing APIs for usage in your code. Now I had placed these two different type of websites. One is this Gemini and the other one is this Deep AI, in order to show you that different websites, the different API providing vendors are having their API utilization in a different ways. I mean, the code structure that you can see over here for using this Gemini API is not the same with the Deep AI API. There are differences, and how will you know about those differences? Of course, by going into the interface itself. They does provide their API usage pattern, like they will provide you or give you the code on how you can make use of it. So this is the Deep AI main website, and you can go to these AI generators, and there are so many APIs that they are providing. You can go through all of it. Okay, there are many options available. So what I selected was watercolor. Now, when I searched for watercolor, it has given me something like this. Now, if I go into it, you can enter your prompt and then it will give you the watercolor image, but that's not an API, right? In order to use an API, you need to get an API endpoint that you can see by clicking on this documentation over here, but I'm not clicking over there because I want to show you something else. So if you click on this documentation here, it will give you the codings, the way to utilize it, and this is how the coding is looking like for it. This is the coding structure, these headers, the payload, and the URL. Okay, so let me show it to you only. So on clicking here, and if you go down, it will give you an example on how you can make use of it. So since I'm using the Python interface and I'm using a text string, I'm going to copy this one. So this is what I copied: import request, and this is HTTP, this is the data header line and all these things. Okay, then I copied it into my Google Colab, and over here I changed this one. Why? Because I want a watercolor painting generator. And from where have I got this? In this Deep AI API only. When I looked through this one, I got it from here, this watercolor painting generator, because this is my endpoint. So the complete endpoint is this one, which up to API, which I got from that API documentation. And then this is the watercolor painting generator that I got from here. Sorry, this one. So the pattern for writing this code is different, but of course I haven't got it because I was not having the credit. But if you have the credit, you will get the same image that it is going to show you over here. So in order to use these APIs, it is going to charge you something, just like the way Gemini was also charging, but because I have a credit and Google does provide credit to everyone for usage, I could have used that. But in these cases, I was not having a credit, so you cannot see the picture. But this is the major difference that I wanted to show. The way for sending the code, uh, sending this API request, this code is different for different kind of vendors, for different kind of utilizations. So these things we need to actually go through the documentations and then look into it. Okay, that's how we are using these APIs. Okay, and this is the complete step that I have provided over here that you can see through next. Okay, so next one is the major one which is getting utilized in today's generation, that is the Hugging Face. Okay, so let me go back to Zoom and ask you how many of you have heard about Hugging Face or might have used at any time before. Okay, any comments? Okay, Isha heard about it, Gaurav heard about it. Anyone else? Okay, no one has heard about Hugging Face interface other than them. They train LLM models. Okay, so Hugging Face are majorly for LLMs, but they are not only for LLMs. They also have the image generation models, or they have the video training models too. Maybe, I mean, in the Hugging Face also, they are providing free models, but not all of the models are free in Hugging Face. They do charge some amount for the usage of the models, but those models are normally not for the educational purposes. Those are the industry ready models. They are of high level, high end models, so they are actually charging few things from it. Okay, so let me go through the Hugging Face at first. Hugging Face is actually providing you with the APIs for the ML models, that is a deep learning model. So deep learning is a part of machine learning only, right? So it is providing you with that APIs for different stuff, for this natural language processing, for the image related task, and it enables you to do multiple stuffs at once. And what are those? You can go to this Hugging Face and check it out by yourself. This is what a Hugging Face interface looks like. And if you go to these models here, you will get to see thousands of models. Okay, this many models are present. Why so? Of course, because this is an open source interface and you can contribute to your own model here also. So what are the different tasks available? As you can see into this left panel, there are multiple computer vision tasks available too, like image classification, image to 3D, image picture extraction, multiple stuffs that you can do with it. NLP is possible, audio is possible. All of these stuffs are possible with this with this Hugging Face interface. Now, how you make use of it, I'll show you. Before that, I'm going to show you the tasks that are available over here. So these are the computer vision tasks, NLP tasks, different tasks which are available. And if you go into any of it, let's say I'm going to go here because question answering is something that I'm going to show you. This is giving you a demo on how you can make use of their question answering models or what it is about, and then can see the data sets available from here and all the models available for this question answering. So if you click on it, these are the models which are specifically for question answering, and you can pick out any one of it and then can make use of it. But all of the models might not be free, just like this llamas are not generally free. Okay, it's in Chinese, I cannot understand that, sorry. So not all the models are free, and normally llama models are coming with some amount. I mean, that is not completely free. So if I check this out, um, okay, this is showing free to use. Okay, so these things, I mean, you have to go through it. You have to search the different kind of models and then see which are free to use and which are not. But this distal bird, they are free to use. You can make use of this distal bird. Distal bird is a variation of a bird, but which is a very um, a very reduced version of it. It takes a little, it is an exceptional kind of a model in LLM model era. So, but it gives you a good performance, but the space utilization, the power consumption is much less than a BERT model. So to learn about all these models, actually you have to go through this model section. You have to go through the model cards. What are the model cards? Where the explanation over all of the models are being given, and then you can actually go through the utilizations of it after reading through the model card, because you cannot use a single model for any kind of a task that you want. You have to go through the this is called as a model card. Like, you have to go through this complete details on how it has been trained, on what data set it has been trained, and how you can make use of it, and then you can use it. So I have used from Hugging Face two different types of models. One is I have used this Hugging Face pipeline. What this pipeline library does is, this pipeline has everything in it. Everything means everything, starting from the feature processing, then the data cleaning, then the model prediction. It has got everything in it. So this the complete pipeline, it has it. So you just need to pass into the task what you want to perform. So I have imported the pipeline from the transformers, and transformers is a Hugging Face library. So after that, I placed this task into this pipeline. And what is a zero shot classification? Zero shot classification means I have a text and I want to classify it as per a given category. So I'll show you this result at first. This is a sequence. That is my input text, which states that AI enables machines to mimic human-like intelligence and perform complex tasks autonomously. And then I had given the candidate labels, that is the categories. So is it belonging to business or education or politics or technology? In which of this category does this sentence belongs? And then in the classifier which I have initialized here using the pipeline, giving the task and the model of my choice. I have used the Facebook BART large MNLI model. It is from the Hugging Face only. And then when I initialized it with this task and the model, my classifier is now an NLP object. It is a deep learning, or we can, or more specifically, I can say it is an LLM object. It now has all the capabilities that the zero shot classification using this model should have. And inside of it, when I'm passing this input sentence, that is a sequence, and the candidate labels, which are my categories, it is going to give me the result with the probability scores attached to it. So it says that this AI enables machine, this complete sentence is belonging to the technology label to the highest probability, that is 0.98. That is 98 percentage of the chance is that it is belonging to technology, right? And this is how you can perform this categorization in just these 4 lines of code. You need to import the library, you need to import the task, state the task, and you need to state the model that you want to use with this task, and then pass the input data and this output labels, that is which of the categories that you want, right? So this is how you can perform the categorization quite easily using the pipeline. So are you finding it easy? Okay, there is so much of silence. Are everyone sleeping, or I hope no one is sleeping here. You can again make use of the reactions, or you can do the comments here. Okay, is no one finding it easy? The Hugging Face, you can unmute yourself and can talk also. Do you want me to repeat the Hugging Face API usage? Okay, it's okay for Isha. Anyone else? Okay, Rajeshwari has also understood. So no one else. This is one way of using the Hugging Face, that is utilizing the pipeline module out of it. And then there is another way that I'm going to show you for the question answering is using this model, which is the Google BERT model. And here I have written device equal to CUDA, because using Google Colab, you can make use of GPU runtime. You can change this runtime over here. So this is how I'm using this T4 GPU from here, and then again using the pipeline I am using this question answering task with this model, and this is the context, the questions. In the same way, in the pipe object, I am sending it the question, sending it the context, and this is the result out of it. Okay, so I think I haven't stored the result anywhere. Yeah, this is the result output basically. What the question was that we are learning about artificial intelligence and its application and its various domains. Okay, so this is the context, and from this context we are asking the model that what are we learning about, and the model is correctly specifying artificial intelligence with 90 percentage of a chance that it is artificial intelligence. Okay, it is giving you a score of it, and the start and end is going to give you the position at which it has found this word. So the starting position is 22, ending is 45. Now, this might seem quite easy. Like I have small context, I can see what we're learning about, right? But in real life scenarios, the context are quite huge. This context would be just like our text generator, even more huge than this one. And then from there you have to ask the questions, like I want to know what the let's say if it is a customer case, I want to know what the customer is facing, what issue the customer is facing. I can ask the question, I can give that complete summary line of text, and it is going to give me the result of it, right? So that's how you can make use of the Hugging Face APIs, Hugging Face pipelines, and a broad utilization of it, like without using a pipeline, with the complete utilization of the model structure. I'll show that to you later on in the next upcoming sessions. And you can also do the fine tuning with your own data set. So this data set that is getting utilized in this scenario is the one with which this models has got trained. So normally this models got trained by using the web crawling methods across different websites, across different data sets that they have used, and with that knowledge it is giving you the result. But if you want to be specific to your own let's say company usage, that is your private data, and that data is unknown to this model, so in that case you need to fine tune it. So those sort of things we will do it later on. Yes, so here goes the end of the API utilizations and the app utilizations. All I have to show you up to now is, are we in line? Is everyone feeling good, or how are you feeling about it? I mean, are you feeling scary? Is it, or is it fun to watch or to work through it? Are you excited? Okay, no one is excited. Everyone is sleepy. Okay, just raise hands if you have understood all of it, or if you are excited to make use of all of these websites which are all open. Okay, nothing like that. Okay. So you can raise your hands using this reaction button like this. You can raise your hands if you have liked it, all this API that I have shown, or all these websites that I have introduced to you all. Okay, only Rajeshwari liked it, no one else. Everyone else is sleeping, I guess. Not sleeping. Okay, okay. Sorry, I missed it. It's okay. You missed nothing actually. As the question is, have you all liked this website, or are you all excited to make use of this website? No problem. Okay, thank you. And I will then move to the last part for today's session, and then we can take up the questions. So, the ones that we had started with, or which is very much in hype today, is the Chat GPT. Why the Chat GPT is named as Chat GPT? Because it is based on GPT models. So, GPTs are the generative models which are basically giving you the generations. I mean, uh, generations in the sense which is giving you the text output. Like if you are asking something to it, it will give you, or it will generate the content for you. So it is not having that kind of bi-directional understanding of the structures which the BERT models are having. So uh, what I mean by this BERT bidirectional structure, I think this is going to be more clearer to you when I say this. So in the BERT, okay, so let me give you an example, just the one that we have seen in the case of the question answering. So when I'm asking you a question and you need to give an answer to it, you need to understand the complete context, the complete summary out of which the question has arisen. And then you need to understand the question also. After that, you are going to produce me the answer. So what is happening is you are learning back and forth. You are learning the complete summary. Then you are learning the question and then you're giving the answer. That is where this bi-directional learning is coming up. That is, you are keeping the context of the complete structure all at once. And in case of GPT, what is happening, just like the one in the text generation, when I have asked it that give me some kind of a text, which is like this one, give me some kind of a text which is related to this topic. So it is generating a complete story for me. It is having the knowledge of which word comes after the other. And in case of this scenarios, when it is talking about the haunted house and the group of friends, what could be the story like? So it has the context of it. It has been trained through around, I guess, 20 terabytes or something like that data, if I'm not wrong. So it is giving you the result as per its understanding. So it is generating, it is not keeping the context completely in its mind, it is keeping in mind the last context of it and not the complete ones, unlike this question answering. So these are some of the differences that arises between these different types of models, and that's where we use it at different scenarios. Now the complete description of it is quite hard to tell you right now, because you need to go through the different types of transformer models available. There are three types of transformer models, each having its own different utilizations and different process of training, different process of working. And that's why we have so many, we are living in a pool of model right now. And all these models are very huge. The GPT model over here, it is trained with 175 billion parameters, and even this is for the GPT-3, I guess. GPT-4 is having, yes, trillion of parameters in it right now, so the power consumption is very high. And similar goes with the BERT models, the power consumptions are quite high. So without a GPU, you cannot make use of these models with your own data. These are very huge models that is going up to gigabytes of space utilizations. So there goes the complete conclusion of this AI session today. Many stuffs are there, so many things, and starting with what the AI is, we started with statistical learnings. I mean, not in today's session, but normally we started with the statistical learning, then went into the machine learnings, then to the deep learnings, then more sectors from the deep learning came up, and now we are in the era of this generative AI, and so many websites that you can make use of, and even you can use these websites to find for other websites also, like where you can get the APIs for free, or the paid APIs are normally available. APIs are not generally for free, but you can find out the other websites that can help you with your requirements. Okay, so let's make utilize this time for the questions. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's all from my side for today. If you have any questions, you can throw your questions at me right now. Okay, so when I enjoyed this, thank you. And difference between data architecture, data scientist, data engineering, MLBA. Okay, so data architecture are the ones which are normally working on the database side. So data engineering and data architecture, they are almost working hand in hand. The data architectures are like when we are working with in a big organizations, it's not only a single interface that we get the data from. We are getting data from multiple surfaces, and data architectures are responsible for streamlining those data to us. I mean, to the data scientists who would then work on the data to find out the insights out of it, who would create models on top of it to make the insights for the business faster, so that the business can take decisions on top of it. And ML engineers who are working only with the machine learning models, they are not a part of the data analysis. They do not use any kind of data analysis tools also, like Power BI, Tableau, whatever we have. Data scientists, as data scientists, you need to use those analytical tools. You need to do the modeling part also. But as ML engineers, you are just working on with the models. And when it comes to a big organization, all this work has to be segregated into different parts, because all these parts needs to be maintained by different people altogether. Okay, hope that answers your question. Anyone else? Okay, anyone else has any questions? Okay, no more questions. As I can see, everyone is very quiet. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the presentation today. Skills the same for architect and scientist? No, the skills for the data architect, you need to know about the tools, different tools like I'm normally more oriented towards GCP. So there you have different tools like PubSub tools, the stream which is used for data streamlining, and then you need to be quite aware of the SQL more. As a data scientist, you need to know the SQL also, but the data engineers use most of it in order to query the part of the data that they want, and then creating different tables, storing it over there, and then sending it to you. So architecture is mostly like if you have a CSV file, let's say, how you're going to fetch that. Then if you have an unstructured file, then how you are going to fetch that. So this is the skills are quite different. You cannot use the similar structure for fetching tabular data and an unstructured data in the similar manner. They has their own different kind of a structures to use. Okay, so the skills are, yes, they are the different skill sets that you require. Okay, so data architecture is normally like the data engineering only. I mean, at some of the companies, both of these designations merge, and in some of the companies, they are different. It totally depends on how big your organization is and how, I mean, how segregated the works are among the different individuals. Okay. Okay, any more questions? What is prompt engineering? Okay, so prompt engineering is basically when you pass on the prompt to the models. It is going to give you the result as per your prompt. So when you're having a model, you need to fine tune it. So on the basis of the prompt, you do the fine tuning in certain cases. So you ask the model something and it will give you the result. If you see that the model is giving you the result as per your own requirement, you give it a thumbs up. That is a feedback mechanism on top of it. And if it is not, then you give it a thumbs down. So that is how your model is learning via the prompts. So your prompts has to be very much accurate to what your demand is. Yeah, so that's what a prompt engineering is, and I think that answers your question. Okay, if someone asks about bottleneck situation, um, I'm not sure what exactly you mean by this bottleneck situation. I mean, it depends on different scenarios. Uh, like the bottleneck situation,
Yes.
it could be a constraint like the one, if I consider that data engineer is passing the data to me and my model is based on that data. Okay, so if somehow for any reason the data flow stops, maybe because of some kind of system lagging or something, then my model is also going to stop, right? So this can be a bottleneck. So we do work around that kind of a bottleneck situation so that the model don't stop working, because if at any point in the pipeline, if a single point is causing some kind of an error, then the complete pipeline is going to get disrupted. So that's why we have those. If I tell you in a very simple manner, we have those try and catch exception blocks. So if this happens, then what to do? If that kind of thing happens, then what to do? So this exception and try catch blocks work in those times. How to build own chatbot, what tools I need to learn. Okay, so building a chatbot is quite easy if you're using the APIs, just like I had shown in case of this one. So over here, you will get the chatbot API also. You need to just hunt through it. And there are APIs in this one also, this deep AI learning. There are APIs from Hugging Face also for the chat APIs. Okay, so you just go through these models, or maybe you can go through the task. That will be much more better or much more specific to your need. Pick one API and then use it as we have used it in this case. Now, your API for the chatbot might not be that much of functional because that will not be fine-tuned. That you need to actually go through this model and then see what it is being trained on, and then you can use it. Otherwise, it is going to give you it might give you some kind of a vague result. You need to fine tune it basically. So yes, you can use this API, or you can also ready-made APIs, or you can also fine tune it. Open API, can I make it to learn my data? Yes, that's where we call it as a fine tuning. This using the APIs, creating the chatbots, we will do it later on. Today was just an introduction on what kind of different interfaces we do have. You can go through this, specifically these three interfaces, like this Google AI Studio for the Gemini API developer, the Hugging Face, and the Deep AI, for learning about how each of their API is working, and you will automatically get your answer. Okay, so yes, you can do that, and everything we do using Python only. There are different libraries and modules for Python available. Okay, okay, thank you so much. Anyone else with any questions? Okay, I'll give 4 more minutes for the questions since it's so silent over here. Will you share the slides? I think so. The slides will be shared. Innovit can answer that. Okay, coding versus machine learning. I guess someone did ask that question. Yes. So what happened in case of coding is that when we were doing the coding, like if I think uh, of us only, like when we started with the coding concept, we started with the C language learning, right? What we were doing, if we were being asked to, let's say, find the factorial of a number, we were explicitly writing down each and every line of a code to get the factorial of the number. Now, what machine learning is doing is we are passing it the data, and then we are passing it the output, and it is automatically generating the results for us. So for finding out a factorial, what we have to do is like 1 into 2 into 3 and so on, it will go on. So in case of machine learning, it is generating that sort of what is it, that sort of ideation on itself. Now, how it is doing it is, uh, in order to understand it, the very good example would be the utilization of y equal to mx plus c. Like if I write this equation, y equal to mx plus c, this is the core concept of the linear regression. So what happens is when you are giving it the value of x, so m and c are some kind of constant, okay? So when you are giving the value of x, the y is changing. Let's say if the x is 1, y is 10. If x is 2, y is 20, x 3, y 30. So there you can see some kind of a connection, right? This sort of connection, the machine can also see it. Machine learns it. Now, if the machine is not learning it in a proper way, and how you know machine is not learning it in a proper way? By looking into the input and your expected output, you can change these constants. You cannot change the data, right? But you can make change of this m and this c, which are the constants, to align the machine in a way that it will give you your required output. So you are teaching the machine with the input and with the output. You are not telling the machine what it has to do explicitly. It will do that on its own. You are just changing the values. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay, I hope it answers your question. I'm not sure whose question it was. Yes. What are labels in machine learning and deep learning? Examples of labels in supervised versus unsupervised. Okay. So labels in machine learning and deep learning are the outputs, and there are no labels when it comes to unsupervised. Unsupervised, I'll take the second example first. Unsupervised are the ones where it will find the pattern. How is it finding the pattern? If I take an example of fruits, okay, so there are mangoes and there are apples, and all of those are mixed together. Being human, you know which are mangoes, which are apples. How you know that? By the shape of apple, by the color of it, by the shape of mango and the color of it, and then you can separate it out. That is some kind of an unsupervised learning that you know I need to separate it out because these two are different entities. How the machine knows that these two are different entities? In the form of numbers. So it looks into the fact that for the apples, the numbers are almost similar. The feature numbers are almost similar. For the mangoes, the feature numbers are similar. So it understood that if the features for this section is different than this section, they might be belonging to different groups. That is, they might be belonging to different categories, and that's where this unsupervision is coming up with the pattern recognitions. And these patterns they're recognizing with the numbers only, with the help of numbers. And in case of supervised, we are telling it that uh, in case of supervised, let's say I'm taking the example of pictures because that will sit both with the machine learning and the deep learning concept. So I'm taking pictures, and in that picture, I have few pictures of mangoes and few pictures of apples. I'm explicitly telling the machine that this is a picture of an apple, this is a picture of an mango. Okay, and what this deep learning will do, it has that concept of pixelate structure. It will derive the numbers of the pixels. So image is made out of, let's say, 256 by 256 pixels. It will look into each and every individual pixels. It will pick up the numbers from there, and then it will map those into the neurons. It will perform some kind of computations inside of it with some weightages. What are the weightages? You can think weightages like this one is m over here, the constants, and then it will give you the output. Now, the output that you are getting, it might say an apple to be a mango, right? The output might be wrong. Then you do the fine tuning. You do the changes into the weightages, you do the changes in the form of the biases. So after that you are looking into the output of it, that okay, after this kind of changings and everything, the output that you are getting, it is saying that mango is a mango. So that's how the labels are working in case of deep learning. Now in this scenario, as your model is having the knowledge that okay, if this kind of a picture is coming up, then I know it's a mango. You do not have to use any kind of learning mechanism or any kind of labeling again with that model. You just give it a picture, it will tell you that okay, it's a mango because it has that kind of an idea, and you are the one to teach it that this is a mango. Okay, so this is how the labels are performing in case of machine learning and the deep learning. You are teaching it. If you see something like this, just label it in this. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Okay, so that's a lot of silence. Okay, so do you have any more questions or any more doubts? If not, then I will hand it over to Innovit. Okay, no more doubts. Okay, then I guess I'll hand it over to Innovit. Uh,
Yeah, hi Nishi. Yeah, thanks for the webinar. It is like I hope everyone is doubts are cleared, and if anyone has more doubts, you guys can ask. I think everyone is done with their doubts, and I think we can wrap up this call. And thanks Nishi, for the complete overall explanation and taking over doubts and explanation so smoothly.
You're welcome. I enjoyed the session. I hope everyone enjoyed in the same way. I can see a lot of silence here. Okay, I'll stop sharing then if everything is done. Cool. Thank you, guys. Okay.
We can
Thank
see
you.
some feedbacks. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, then I think we can wrap up the session for today.
Yes. So guys, if anyone have doubts, they can ask, or else we'll wait for 5 minutes and we can wrap up.
Okay. So no more questions, I guess. When is the next session? I think the next session is on next week, but Innovit will be able to tell you about that. You will get the complete information from them.
Yeah, we will share a complete detailed post to the people.
Okay, I can see no more questions. You're welcome.
So yeah, guys, feel free to drop off if you guys don't have any question. We are going to wrap up this call in few minutes. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining today, and I hope like you guys will join for the next sessions also. So yeah, I'm wrapping up the call. Thank you.
Thank you.